boxing news.
Little sedation. Even though my big sis already kicked your ass. I got you. You want to get your ass kicked by me. That's cool. I do it. I do it. I do it.
That's Claressa Shields seemingly coming around to the idea of a Zuffa Greene fight that before she sort of turned her nose up at, whereas now she seems more accepting. And it's also important to note that at this time Claressa Shields is a network and promotional free agent. She's parted ways with her career-long promoter, Dimitri Salita, while Zuffa is still promoted by MVP. So is it possible that what this heralds is a move for Claressa Shields over to the MVP side of things for at least this fight, or maybe more? Maybe she will be the latest female boxer to sign, to migrate over to MVP. Practically everybody else already has. Awkward. I do think it'd be pretty awkward if Claressa Shields reached any kind of an arrangement with MVP, since she's openly taken shots at both Jake Paul, Nikisa Badarian, Amandia Serrano. And it always starts the same way. Claressa pretends that somebody's disrespected her so she can justify having a go at them, when she's actually the one doing all the disrespecting. This idea that because you're a professional boxer, you have to have the personality of a bear trap, you have to be this obnoxious, annoying character. It isn't necessary, but that's Claressa Shields' MO. By now everybody knows. But as stated, it sounds a lot like she's come around to the idea of fighting Zuffa Greene, where she was not as receptive before. She seems receptive now, likely because she's running out of options. There's nobody at heavyweight worth fighting. Nobody really at light heavyweight, save Che Keneally, who's even less known than Zuffa Greene. Che Keneally of New Zealand, Che Keneally who has a belt. But the thing about Che Keneally is Che is not with a big-time promoter, so fighting her doesn't get you a big-time bag, big-time money. And the onus would be on Claressa to pay to make it happen if she were to fight Che Keneally, whereas fighting Zuffa, Claressa's a free agent. She ain't got no promoter to pay for nothing. Well, what about that $15 million offer that she just made Layla Ali? It was fucking bullshit. We really gotta do this? Wasn't a real offer. That was a high-profile bluff. If Claressa actually had somebody that's willing to put up that kind of money for her, what would she need a promoter for? My guess is that Claressa has all of a sudden come around to the idea of fighting Zuffa Greene because she's running out of options that can get her a respectable bag. My guess is that she didn't re-sign to Dimitri Salita because there's not a lot more that Dimitri can do for her. It's my guess. My guess is that she might come around to the idea of working with MVP, since MVP has fast become the flagship promoter for female boxers all around the world, anywhere from the United Kingdom to the United States to Australia, Mexico, you name it. They've signed him. My guess is that Claressa didn't upload that video for no reason. It's because behind the scenes, something's being worked on. Likely, a Zuffa Greene fight. I like Zuffa, and I have to give her credit for winning a fight that I didn't think she was going to win. The Savannah Marshall fight. I thought that Savannah would be too much for her. I'm surprised that a rematch hasn't been scheduled. They're both signed to MVP. But yeah, Zuffa's a good fighter, and I gotta give her credit for winning a fight I didn't think she was gonna win, but still, I don't think she wins this one. I don't think she beats Claressa Shields, as much as I don't like her. Sticking to the boxing, I think that Claressa wins the fight, whether the fight is at 175 or heavyweight for Claressa's belts, or at 168 for Zuffa's. Wherever it happens, I believe that Claressa wins. And I believe that MVP will be at the helm of the promotion because Claressa doesn't have a promoter.
Nah, man, people got that kid too high pie, and we're gonna bring him down, you know what I'm saying, come fight night.
It for sure is happening.
We don't know yet, man. Let's see
what are we waiting for?
We're waiting for the okay.
Alrighty, coach.
You got it, man. Have a good night.
That was Teofimo Lopez Sr., who basically said nothing with Shakur Stevenson has been finalized yet. They're supposedly waiting for the okay. The okay from who? Turkey, maybe. Coincidentally, Teofimo Lopez Jr. took to his Instagram stories and posted this image, asking who's next, Shakur Stevenson or Manny Pacquiao for the coming calendar year. And you know that he ended up taking that image down. realizing that he might be giving too much away of what he's planning, what he hopes to do, he removed the image from his Instagram stories, though not before a lot of people screenshotted it.
Let me tell you something. I've never believed that Teofimo wanted the Shakur Stevenson fight so much as he settled on it. He didn't have much of a choice because he's running out of options for a big-time fight. The other champions at the weight,
Richardson Hitchens, Gary Antoine Russell, Subriel Matias, you don't make as much money fighting them as you would make boxing Shakur on one of Turkey's shows. Fighting Shakur for Teofimo is almost a last resort to get it a big bag, since there aren't that many around for him. There's that to consider, and his free agency. He seems to have severed ties to Top Rank, so he doesn't have a relationship with them to fall back on. Can't rely on them to make any stay busy fights for him anymore. He's a free agent.
In between now and the time that this fight with Shakur became a conversation, he's sort of given it away that he's not really committed to it. He doesn't really want it.
How so?
A few weeks ago, he was in attendance at a press conference for one of Aiden Ross's events. Aiden Ross, he's a streamer, a young one, a popular one, and Teofimo was actually begging him for a spot on one of his cards, all while they're supposed to be negotiating this fight with Shakur.
Right.
If you were really committed to fighting Shakur, you're not going to beg Aiden Ross for a spot on one of his circus fights, one of his freak fights. I mean, those shows are for social media influencers.
Not boxers. Not real boxers. Don't you respect yourself?
If he were really committed to fighting Shakur, he wouldn't be toying with the idea of fighting a 47-year-old Manny Pacquiao.
Not if he were really committed to fighting Shakur. What that communicates to me is fighting Shakur for Teofimo is a last resort. It's not a fight that he likes. It's not a fight that he's crazy about, and he would rather explore other options, safer ones, because I'm of the opinion that if you put those two guys in the same ring, Shakur beats him.
Shakur wins.
Yeah. Maybe I've been wrong about some of Teofimo Lopez's fights in the past. Maybe forecasting the outcome of his fights hasn't always gone my way, but I'm standing on my square, and I believe Shakur beats him. I also believe Teofimo knows that.
That's why he's not crazy about the fight. That's why he's not really committed to it. He's used to being the quick one, the athletic one, the agile one. Whereas Shakur Stevenson, he's quick, he's agile, he's athletic in his own way, which would offset Teofimo's finer qualities.
Talked about the styles of the fighters and how Shakur's style is all wrong for Teofimo's.
Just doesn't do him any favors. I believe that Shakur beats Teofimo, and worse, I believe that Teofimo knows that, which is why he's not really committed to this fight.
Wants to fight Pacquiao.
Another instance of the boxers and the people in boxing serving up some shit nobody's asking for. No one is asking Teofimo to fight Manny. Nobody's asking Manny to fight Teofimo. They didn't ask him to fight Barrios.
Which is why nobody bought that shit.
Feel like I'm living in the Twilight Zone for stating the obvious. Nobody was excited to see Manny box Mario Barrios, and as a result, it didn't do nothing at the box office. This?
Nobody bought that shit, and I don't think a lot of people are gonna buy this shit. You know why? People ain't asking for it. The guys in boxing keep forgetting that any business that is a business relies on the principle of supply and demand.
You have to supply something that people are actually demanding. You don't just pour sugar on shit, serve it up, and call it bacon.
Motherfucker.
But that's what this would be. No one is asking Teofimo to fight a 47-year-old Manny Pacquiao. There are other intriguing matches out there. He wants the low-hanging fruit, like most boxers.
What do I always say? Leave it up to the boxers. It's always supposed to work out to where they get more money while nothing is getting done.
My previous video, we talked about everything that's wrong in the American boxing scene, and the boxers' role to play in all of that. Teofimo Lopez has been a headache for anyone who's worked with him, whether it's been Top Rank, Triller, or Matchroom.
To a lesser extent, Turkey.
No, he's been a pain in the ass. And to make matters worse, he's not even that big a draw. I remember many months ago, Top Rank tried to make a fight between him and Brian Norman. Didn't want to do it. Some months later, there was an effort to put him in the ring with Devin Haney, and he didn't want to do that either.
Would he walk away from 11 million? Something like that? I don't think he wants to do this. I really don't think he wants to fight Shakur.
Now, what he does want to do, he wants to box on Aiden Ross's undercard against social media influencers. He wants to box
a 47-year-old Manny Pacquiao.
This is shit he wants to do. Perfect example of what I'm always talking about the American boxing scene and the American boxer. The American boxer wants to do anything but box, but be a fucking boxer. Always hearing them moaning about how it's dangerous and they're putting their lives at risk. Hey, buddy, you're not a soldier. You're not a municipal servant. And if you're putting your life at risk, your health, it's for your own bank account, not mine.
Always hearing about how they sacrifice so much for our entertainment. Do you think it's our entertainment he's concerned with when he wants to box on Aiden Ross's undercard?
Bullshit.
It's a fucking guilt trip. The reality of it is, a lot of the boxers, a lot of them, not all, but a lot, they don't give a fuck about me and you and our entertainment. They don't even care about the integrity of the sport. I'll go as far as saying is they don't care what happens to the sport after they're gone, because they just want to take.
They all want to make off like bandits at the expense of the sport.
And maybe that's what's right for them, but that's not going to work for the longevity of the sport, for it to survive and thrive. The future of boxing cannot be entrusted to the boxers.
Can't stress that enough, and all of their inflated purse demands that have led to this oversaturation of the box office market. Fights are too fucking expensive to put on.
The only way to get anything done now, to get any two halfway decent fighters to fight each other, is relying on a Saudi benefactor. That it should take Saudi money for these guys to do their fucking job.
Sometimes even that's not enough.
Elsewhere in the world of boxing, TKO scumbags. Oscar De La Hoya sounds off on California State Athletic Commission supporting changes to the Ali Act, saying that changes only undermine the fighters. As if he doesn't. Following the news of the California State Athletic Commission holding a surprise meeting where they voted to formally support changes to the Ali Act to the benefit of TKO Group / Zuffa Boxing, Oscar De La Hoya takes to social media to sound off on the corrupt tyrants who are attempting to undermine the sport he so dearly loves. Check out some of what he had to say below.
This article was written by Willie Esco.
Will Esco to Escobar, now he is Wilco Damas.
What?
So something happened yesterday that the entire boxing community is questioning, De La Hoya said. The California State Athletic Commission held under-the-radar hearing in which they voted to approve the proposed changes to the Muhammad Ali Act. TKO has been begging for these changes so they can fuck fighters over with their new league.
Fuck fight is over. Isn't that why Canelo Alvarez left you?
Fighters and managers called into the first meeting back in September and expressed major concerns about changes being made to the act, so the commission said they would discuss it further in December. But suddenly they voted and approved it yesterday, ignoring all public voices. I am so disappointed in them. No other promoter had tried to change this act because there's no need to. We believe in fair business. But you have these TKO scumbags who need it to change. I mean, look at their plans. Dana said openly they will be honoring one belt, their own belt. They want to eliminate all the other belts, the rich history that comes with the entire sport. They want to change the size and shape of the ring with their own rules. What the fuck is next? Tigers and lions chained to the fucking canvas?
Yet another boxing industry guy that is misrepresenting what TKO is doing. It's not that they want to eliminate the alphabet organizations, it's that they don't want to work with them. Sanctioning bodies ain't going anywhere. The WBC, the WBA, the WBO, and the IBF, it's simply put that Dana doesn't want them to come to his party.
That's not Dana doing away with the alphabet organizations. That's Dana not inviting them. And so fucking what if he doesn't? What are you so worried about? You still got your fighters. Let your fucking fighters fight for those fucking belts. If they mean that much to you, let them deal with it. Asuka continued. Dana will go to his buddy, President Trump, and have him push these changes to the Ali Act through. So much for the American way and the First Amendment.
Nothing happened to the First Amendment. You still have freedom of speech.
Speak all you like. That's your right. That's your freedom. And they have the freedom to ignore you. Oscar continued, I guess it doesn't apply here. This is a huge red flag for fighters and managers because the writing is on the wall. TKO is actively changing legislature so they can openly fuck fighters over.
You mean like you've been accused of fucking fighters over? By Canelo Alvarez, by Juan Manuel Marquez, by Shane Mosley. Are you joking?
That's what makes this even more fucking ridiculous, that it's coming from Oscar De La Hoya, of all people. The idea that Dana White is fucking fighters over at the UFC, that he's robbing these guys. Robbery implies ownership.
That's not what's going on over there. Those fighters that choose to fight for the UFC enter into an agreement, enter into a contract, and they have to abide by what the contract states. If you don't like it, don't sign it and go fight for some other fighting federation.
Because that ain't stealing. If anything, it's buyer's remorse from the fighters who want to renege on something they already agreed to. Now, stealing is what Oscar De La Hoya is accused of, siphoning money away from fighters behind their back.
That's stealing.
What Dana's doing, whether people like it or not, is going through the proper channels to get legislature passed that would allow him to form a league. And that's not behind anybody's back. That's right in your face.
That's why everybody's talking about it.
Former WBO champion Jamel Herring took to his social media and stated, now this is just a rumor, but if this Zuffa boxing pay structure is real, it's wild. You get a $5,000 signing bonus for signing to Zuffa, $15,000 if you're not ranked, $50,000 if you're ranked in between 5 and 10, $100,000 if you're ranked in between 2 and 4, $250,000 for a title shot, and $500,000 for defending a title, fighting once every 5 months. Dana says it'll change boxing forever, but if this is true, it's changing it in a crazy way. Would any top fighter actually sign this? To which veteran boxing scribe Marcos Villegas responded, I feel like it's for guys that aren't superstars. This is actually fair pay. No. To which Jamel responded, I'm not mad at that. I hope I'm only wrong about the activity. You and I know guys on the come up needs to stay busy overall.
When Jamel Herring said top fighters, I feel like he meant that top 2% of boxers that are likely making the high end of 6 figures or the low end of 7. And that's not the majority of boxers, and that certainly isn't who you can expect to sign to Zuffa. Zuffa is for those mid-tier fighters who aren't superstars, who already don't make that much, who don't have a bunch of patches on their trunks.
And on that predication, I question how successful Zuffa can be, housing all of these mid to low-tier fighters. Now, how can you aspire to derive any real elite-level talent when those are the kind of guys you're going to be working with? Questions that need answers. But as far as the pay scale and the practices, that seems about fair for a mid-tier fighter.
So if you're seeing that there are a lot of people that are in the boxing space pushing against Dana and Zuffa boxing, a lot of people that have already been there, it's because some of those people don't want boxing to have a structure and they don't want it to have a pay scale.
Get down to brass tacks, there's a lot of people in boxing that want the wiggle room to ask for ridiculous money at ridiculous times, and they think that Dana's gonna come in and take that all away.
He's not.
Zuffa can only house about 400 to 450 fighters, where all around the world, there's anywhere in between 18 to 27,000 active boxers, less than 2% of active boxers overall, and these amendments to the Ali Act only really apply to fighters that fight in a league. The ones that don't, nothing changes.
That's why I keep saying that this is much ado about nothing. If you're not going to box in Dana's league, you ain't got nothing to worry about.
What's in the contract and what he's paying fighters and how often the fighters are going to fight, that's not your problem. That's not going to be a lot of boxers' problem. Save the ones that decide to sign to him.
Whatever they sign, that's on them.